The health of 95-year-old Queen Elizabeth II has been called into question over the last few weeks for a variety of reasons. First, she appeared in public using a walking stick twice in a matter of a few days. First at a ceremony for the UK Armed Forces at Westminster Abbey, and then at the opening of the Welsh Parliament. There have also been reports of her no longer being able to walk her dogs, and she also didn't go to church on a recent Sunday, something that rarely happens according to The Independent. Buckingham Palace has also confirmed that the Queen recently spent a night in the hospital for what were called preliminary investigations into her health, and she also canceled the trip to Ireland. However, worry truly set in when she canceled an important trip to Glasgow, Scotland, for COP26, a meeting of world leaders on the topic of the climate. Even with making virtual appearances, the news that her doctors have asked her to rest for 2 more weeks has led to questions of whether the Queen will either step back from her royal duties or step down from the throne altogether. While the British monarchy is prepared for what happens when Queen Elizabeth dies with a plan called Operation London Bridge, her recent health issues and willingness to cancel plans on doctor's orders have led many to speculate whether Prince Charles will ascend to the throne before his mother dies. The Daily Beast tackles the subject of whether the Queen should have allowed Charles to go to Glasgow instead, especially since the topic of climate change is one of his pet projects and has been for years. Royal correspondent Tom Sykes explains that if Charles had done so, it would have looked like he was trying to take his mother's place too soon. While he did attend the summit, it wasn't as his mother's replacement, as he has been playing a more junior role among leaders. Sykes also put to bed the idea of the Queen stepping down to allow Prince William to become king rather than Charles, as Charles' son is more popular than he is. He wrote in the Daily Beast, "That's not how a constitutional monarchy works, and that fantasy is not going to happen." Royal experts believe that even if Queen Elizabeth does not step down from the throne, her overall role as Britain's reigning monarch may change. Sunday Times royal correspondent Roya Nika told Radio 4's Today Show, "I think there will be a reassessment and possibly a slight gear change in the kind of work the Queen does, the distances she travels." However, Buckingham Palace has refused to comment on whether the Queen stepping back from travel, duties, and public appearances will become a regular thing going forward, or is just temporary due to this unspecified health matter. However, 21st century technology at least made it possible for the Queen to make a short virtual appearance at COP26, where she delivered a video speech urging world leaders to act on the climate crisis. It is the hope of many that the legacy of this summit, written in history books yet to be printed, will describe you as the leaders who did not pass up the opportunity, and that you answered the call of those future generations. The Queen also added that she hopes that the leaders attending the conference will move substantially to combat climate change.
The time for words has now moved to the time for action.
For much of Queen Elizabeth's life, her dedication to the throne she ascended to when she was only in her 20s was defined by what happened in England when she was still a child. She was never born to be queen, as she was the daughter of the second son who was not born to be king. However, her uncle, Edward VIII, abdicated the throne after only 11 months, when he married American divorcee Wallis Simpson. His younger brother and Elizabeth's father, George VI, then ascended to the throne with his daughter as his heir apparent. Since then, the Queen has lived under the idea that you do not abdicate such a solemn duty. As the Daily Beast points out, even her speech to the nation when she was still a 21-year-old princess foreshadowed the 7 decades to come. "I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and the service of our great imperial family, to which we all belong." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about the royal family are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.